Thanks a lot for that response. Thank you very much. It's good to have every one of us join this call this evening. And it's all our pleasure having you on the call with us. So it is the Power Platform Business Series. And we started this conversation around the Power Platform. I think today is the fourth session in the series, which obviously makes it the fourth weekend that we started this. It's been an awesome ride since we began discussing about Power Apps specifically and how we can build some reasonable and usable solutions within our organization with that particular product. All thanks to the Power Platform Business Series, the Power Platform User Group Nigeria. Hello, Amara, you saying something? Okay, for the support and for availing us this privilege and opportunity to upskill in the area of the Microsoft Power Platform. And we also do so much appreciate our facilitator who has been expending so much of his knowledge and experience with us so that we could better the way we handle things in our various organizations and of course provide solutions to some manual processes that every one of us were aware of in our various institutions and firms. So in order not to take so much of our time, what we are discussing, for those of us that we're just joining for the first time, we're talking about Power Apps, which is a product in the Power Platform, the Microsoft Power Platform, and we are taking a case study around leave request application. So we started developing that leave request application from session 1, which in every session we add more features, making it more realistic and attending to some of the use cases that in an ideal environment we would want a solution to attend to or to put into cognizance. So we add some galleries, we add some screens, we created lists to serve as our data sources in previous sessions, and today it is from there that we're going to continue. So on this note, we are 7 minutes already into the session, so we don't take more time before getting into the real discussion. So I'm going to hand over to Ibrahim now, but before he takes over, I would like to implore every one of us, if you have questions while the conversation is going on, we can always make use of the chat box. Drop your questions there, and when it is time for us to attend to those, we'll pick them from there, and the facilitator would do justice to our questions. So this session is recorded just like the previous sessions, so we would have access to the recordings. For those of us that we missed the previous sessions as well, I will share with us the link to our YouTube channel wherein we would get access to the previous sessions we've had before now, so we can catch up with some of the learnings so that things do not look a bit complex to us. So on this note, let me hand over to my boss, Ibrahim. Please, let's have you take the floor, and so we can begin our conversation today. Thank you very much, everyone. Hello, Ibrahim, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, I was actually speaking. Can I be heard now?
Yes, clearly.
All right, awesome.
I hear you, Professor.
All right. All right, thank you for joining. So like you rightly said, so we have the recordings of previous classes. You can find it on the YouTube channel. I think it's MCTNAIJA. So today we're just going to continue with the leave request application that we're building, and we're at the point where we're trying to, just tidy up and ensure that we don't lose cut as far as the application is concerned. Like I said previously, as please can we turn off our video, please, Paul? Okay. So like I said, so we just want to let's be able to tidy up what we have done, and I'll just go ahead to share my screen right away. Okay, but before I proceed, I'd just like to take 2 questions. Perhaps if you have 1 or 2 persons who has 2 questions who has a question from the previous class that we did. So while my application is coming up, I can take that quickly. If we have any, if we do not, then we go ahead, please. Okay, perfect. So I want to believe that we're fine. So let's just go ahead. Okay, so last week we tried to do some working around what we did. So what we pulled the total vacations for this particular user, the current user, and we also, we put these cards on the leave request so that the user is able to see at first glance the number of days that has been used and total vacation that he or she has. And so we're just going to go ahead today. I noted some things that we'll be touching. Number one is that the start date, we need to be sure that it's not in the past. So this is what I mean. So if I select Monday 1st of November, right? This shouldn't be possible, right? I should not be able to select a date in the past. Also, if I look at end date, I'll be able to select a date in the past, which should not happen. Okay, so these are some of the things you need to put, the checks that you need to put in place. So how do we remedy that? So first is that I want to put an instruction on here. So what I would do is I'll select the whole card, the start date, then I will insert a label. So once I insert the label, I put it down somewhere here, then I'll put a text to say you cannot. Oh, I think.
Ibrahim.
Hello, can I be heard?
Okay, yeah, I actually heard you. Okay, your screen just moved now. It was just stagnant on the preview screen before now.
Okay, but is it fine now?
Yes, I think it is now. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me check something. I think Ahmed is telling me that we did something earlier, or let me see. I think there was a text we added earlier. Let me confirm. I think there's a text down here, so I will look for it. I know we added a text, but I just need to see what the text is. Okay, you have required more than. Okay, this one was for more than. Okay, so that means we can go ahead. So I'll insert a label somewhere here, then I'll put an instruction here. You can't select a date in the past. Okay, so let's have it as this. So I will go ahead to increase the width to say 350. Okay, perfect. Then I will change the font. I'll change the color to red. Okay, so when do I want to see this? I want to see this when this should be visible when this date is in the past. So I'll click on this control, get the name, which is data card value 3. Okay, and I'll select this particular text, go to visible. So I'll say that if open bracket, paste the name of that dot selected date, okay, is less than today, which is today as a function. Okay, if it is less than today, then it should show, which means true, else it should be false. Okay, so let's do this. Let's preview it and see. Let me select November 30. Okay, it's not showing. Let me select today's date is Saturday. Let me see. It's not showing. Let me select 16th. So that means it's working perfect, right? We'll also do the same we'll do the same. So I'll just do Control C and paste it here for the end date too. Okay, now, the rules will be different because this rule, the rule that is tied to this is the start date. So I need to change it to the end date, which is data card value 4, okay? So I'll just come back here, go to visibility. So I have to change this to 4. Okay, so let's preview this and see. Let me pick a date in the future. Okay. You can't a date. Okay, no, it's not yet the future. So I'll go to, let me see, 30th. Okay. So it works. Let me pick today's date. It works, and let me pick a date in the past. Sorry, can you mute your mic if you're not speaking, please? All right, thank you. Okay, now I hope these two things are clear, but I'll still show us something. Now we have only controlled, the visible. We have only passed an information to the user. But one thing we have not done is that we have not this person will still be able to submit, right? This person will still be able to submit even with what we did. So we also need to disable this button based on these two rules. And I'll go ahead to try and do that. Let me say I pick a date in the past. Okay, yes. Okay, so let me say I pick a date in the past. I say leave type, sick leave, supervisor. Let me put test user. Then I put purpose, personal. Okay. So let's see. You see that the submit button is still enabled. Meanwhile, I should not be able to submit. So what do I do? So what I need to do is that the two rules I applied to this and this must be applied to the submit button too. So I'll go to this text. So I'll go to this text, right? Okay, let me look for it. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, I think this is it, label 11. You can rename it appropriately so that you are not looking for it here and there. Also, I need to copy the rule. So this is just the rule here. So when I go to the submit button, already when I go to display mode, already there are some rules around on the submit button as it were. Some is hanging kind of here. Okay. Sorry, I don't know why. I think my is hanging kind of. Okay, let me just click out, select it again, and come here. Okay, oh, now awesome. So now we already have different rules around this. So what I would do is I will introduce an or. Now because so what I'm saying is that if the form is valid and this condition is met, then it should be enabled. Now I want to also put an or no, I think and suffices. And should also suffice. So I'll just put a comma, press down and say if data card value 3, which is the data card value 3 is the start date. Okay, so if it's greater than or equal to today. Okay, and the fourth one is the end date. If it is greater than or equal to day, right? So if you look at the rules that we've written, the first rule is to say if the form is valid, okay, that's rule 1. The second rule says that if the leave duration, I mean the number of leave days that I have is greater than the remaining days is valid, then if the start date is greater than or equals to today, it's valid. Then if the end date is greater than or equals to today. And the last one, I think there's still one, but I'll come back to that. Okay, there's still one. I'll come back to that. So you see now that this is disabled. Okay, you see now that. So you have to master. You have to master how to use appropriately this and or, especially when you want to deal with things like this. Okay, you see all the conditions that I have to pull together so as to ensure that my user does not submit an invalid data. There's still one particular rule that we have not taken care of. Who wants to? Can somebody just hint us? There's one particular thing that we have not done as far as this start date and end date is concerned. Can anybody hint us? Okay, I have 5 seconds. If I don't have anybody, I'll just go ahead.
Maybe if it's more than the available number of days.
I think we already did that. That's been catered for, which is leave duration is vacation remaining. So I think we already did that. But there's a particular one. Okay, it's the fact that if the start date is greater than the end date, it's possible. Okay, let me preview it. Let me say, so the start date, for instance, let me say I'm starting on the 23rd. Okay, now I want to choose an end date of 22nd. You can see it should not be possible, right? It shouldn't be possible.
Yeah,
and you still see that the submit button is enabled. So we should also be able to cater for this scenario. So how do we undo that, right? So we also need to now put another label. Okay, now all of these labels we can find a better way to put them, maybe by changing. You can create a variable. Now the content of the variable will be changing based on the rule. So I could say that if if the start date is greater than the end date, this is what the message should be. Okay, I could actually say that. So instead of, rather than creating different labels, it's also possible. So there are different ways to achieve this. But for this, what I'll just do is I'll put another label here. So you see that there are other labels there, but they are not showing because some of the other rules have actually overtaken. So this, I would say, start date cannot be greater than end date. Okay. So once I do that, I'll increase the width. Okay, let me change it to 400. Then I'll change the color to red. Okay. So under what condition would this? Okay, let me. Where's it? Okay, this is it. So we have to go to visible. So visible. So if data card value 3, so which is the start date dot selected date, is greater than data card value 4 dot selected date, okay, then true, else false. So if the start date, so like I said, you can rename this data card, right? You can always do that. So if the data value 3, which is the start date, is greater than this, then it should show this. So let's preview it. Now you will see, because the start date is greater than this, is showing this rule. So we also now need to factor it into our submit button. That is comma. So data card value 4 dot selected date is greater than data card value 3 dot selected date. So if you understand what I mean, so the condition is that this must be true for my button to be enabled. That is, the end date must be greater than or equal to, it can actually be equal to, right? You might want to go on just a day leave, right? So it's possible. So greater or equal to this, so it must be this. So let's preview. Now you would see that the submit button is what is disabled. Why? Because this is the end date is less than this. Another place you can see it is, you notice here that the leave date is -1. So you can also use as a rule that if the difference of the leave days is -1, then it should be disabled, because that's what we are seeing here, -1. Okay. So I haven't done that. I think we have been able to take care of this part, right? And what other things? Yeah. So that's fine. So another thing we also need to do is to so last week we actually talked about the duration. Okay. So for instance, if I say I want to go from Monday 22nd to Friday 26th, okay? So it's showing 4 days. So what we need to do is to add +1 to it. Yes, I think that's the rule. So you have to add +1 to it for it to give you the actual day. So I'll go ahead so this is what we had last week, date difference of this and this, plus. Then I'll add +1. Okay, so let's check if it will be correct at every point. So I'm going on the 22, and let me say I'll be back on the 30th. So it's actually showing 9 days, which is correct. Now there's an issue because this is inclusive of weekends and holidays, which we didn't factor. So I'm sure that's a discussion for another class. But if you see, you'll agree with me that this date is now correct. Okay, so that solves the issue that we actually talked about last week. So then again, this one that we want to do now. So I was also thinking that on this dashboard, instead of have this total vacation and used vacation, I was thinking we can actually have just the number of days left, right? Because obviously everybody knows the number of leave days or he or she has. But yeah, even if we don't go that route, let's go to the leave type. Now, this leave type, we need to be able to get the number of leave days based on the leave type that is selected. So for instance, now what we did here, if you look at the calculation we did here, we said first value. So what we did here was a deduction of the vacation. So we didn't take into cognizance the sick leave and the paternity leave. So what I would do is I will erase this formula. Okay, I will erase this formula for now. Okay, so I will erase it. So what I would do, I need to write a rule on this drop down here. Okay, and the rule is that whenever I select sick leave, it should do a particular calculation. Whenever I select vacation, the calculation should be different. And when I select paternity, the calculation should be different. Okay. Okay, so let's go. So let's go ahead. Now, let me show us something before I proceed. Let's look at the name of this gallery. The name of this gallery is Gallery M Vacation. Okay. Why this one is Gallery Employee Sick Leave. Now, watch what I want to do. So for this leave type, I'll go to Action, Unchanged. I mean, whenever I change anything here. Oh, wow. Okay. This was retained. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to create a variable. Okay. So I'll call my variable VAR leave balance. That's what I'll call it. I'll put comma. So I would say if brackets. Okay. So what's the name of this control? This control is a data card value sys. Okay. If data card value sys, okay, dot selected dot value. Now, dot selected dot value is used when it is a drop down, right? If it was a text box, like a text control, you just use dot text, right? So if it's equal to paternity, okay, comma. So what do you want to set our leave balance to? Now, what we're going to do is, which of this gallery is for paternity? It is this one. So I'll copy the name of this gallery, which is Gallery Employee Leave Paternity. Okay. So I'll say I'll paste it dot selected dot value dot selected rather dot. So I'll look for the total paternity minus gallery paternity dot selected dot used paternity. Okay. So I'll close this. Okay. So I'll close this. But let me see. I think that let me just bracket this so that it groups this. So I put a comma. So instead of me retyping all of this, let me just copy and paste and just change some parameters there. So I'll copy this and paste it. Okay, so if it is vacation, okay, vacation dot so this should be total vacation, okay, and this should be used vacation, okay, and the last one I'll paste it again is what? Sick leave, and this one total sick leave, okay, then this one use sick leave. Okay, so I'll close it. So I'll close it. Okay, right now, so I've been able to close everything. So I'll do format text so that it shows it clearly. So let's look at it. Now, the name of our variable is variable leave balance, which I will just copy here. Okay, then I'll go to this particular one. I'll paste it here. Okay, leave balance. So let's preview and see. So if it's sick leave, 5 days left. If it's vacation, 21 days left. If it's paternity, 5 days left. So obviously this is working. But I also have, there's another, okay, this should be vacation remaining. So I need to put it here. Okay, cool. This particular one, I'm not sure I need it. Okay, so this is the one showing the number of days left. Okay, and this is the one showing the number of days that I'm applying for. So what I can simply do is just to find a strategic place to put them and have the number and have the appropriate distance. So let me just copy, let me put it up here. I'll just say, so you can actually have this anywhere strategy. Okay, let me just, I'll drag this down a bit. Okay, then I'll cut this and put it here. So let me put it down here. So, but before it, let me append. Let me copy the value of this. Okay, so I'll just say Ctrl D dot selected dot value. Okay, dot value. Then I'll introduce an ampersand just to concatenate. Okay, then I'll also put this just to put space, put another ampersand. So say paternity days left. Okay, awesome. So I'll just adjust this, or leave balance. Okay, so let's preview this and see. So when I select sick leave, it changes to sick leave. Wow, sick leave balance. Okay, vacation leave balance. Okay. Okay, so I'll just, what I will do, I'll remove the leave. So let's say balance. Okay, let's say balance. So I think this works fine. We can just give it a background just to make it, just to let it show, yes. Okay, that's fine. So why this one? We can also cut this and take it to somewhere. Let me see, where do I put it? Where do I put it? Okay, let me just put it somewhere here. Okay, so for this one now, so what we're doing is we're saying number of days applied. Okay. Okay, let's have something like this. I will increase the weight to say 250 and adjust this to 200. Okay, awesome. Let me take it to the front a bit. So let it be 290, 298. Okay, then I'll give it also a background of this. Or let me give it green so as to differentiate them. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's preview. So once I choose these 6 days, okay, sick leave balance, number of days applied, maternity. So if I change this to number of days, let's say this has changed to 7. So obviously this is working perfect. If I choose an old date, let's see. Oh, these two are clashing, right? These two are clashing. So let's see, are we able to address them, right? Let me see. Okay, let's pull one down. Let's pull one down. So the other one, okay, let's see. Okay, we can only sort that. That's not so these two issues, you cannot select the day in the past. Start date cannot be greater than, so that's so we can go back to our 30. Okay, that's cool. So it means that all of these rules are actually working. Now we need to see that we need a duration date. So we need a number of duration. This duration, these 9 days, we need it to be recorded within our list. So what I will do, I'll go to my list to create a duration column. Okay, so let me go to my list to add a column. So let's say number column, I'll say duration. Okay, so automatic 0, comma, no. So I'll save this. So once I add this, I'll go back to my application and refresh my data source. So I'll refresh this place, refresh. So I haven't refreshed it. That duration column will be available to us. So what I need to do is just to select my form, go to edit field and do add field. So let me look for duration. Wow, it's not here yet. Okay, let's check. Add field, duration. It's not here yet. Wow. Let me refresh it once again. Oh, wow. I think I added it in the wrong place. Sorry. So I have to re-add it. I added it in the wrong place. So I'll do duration. 0, right? No, this save. So let me go back and refresh it. Okay, perfect. So let me go back to edit fields, add field, then duration. Okay, this is it. So add this. Now, once I add this, I will now go to, I'll click on this duration, especially the text box to be precise. Okay, so you have to be careful. See, I selected the duration now, but it's the status card that is, which is at the background that is selecting. So I need to be sure that I'm picking the right thing. Okay, so it's very important. So what I will do is I'll just click on the duration here and select data card value 12. Okay, so I want to set the default value, but as it were, it is locked, so I need to unlock it. So how do I do that? I will unlock this. Okay, so I'll set it to the number of days that this person applied, which is what? Which is where is this? Which is this, right? So I'll copy it. So I'll come to the default value here of the duration. I'll paste this. Okay, perfect. So it's showing now duration 1. Okay. Now I can decide to make it show. I'll take it up, and I can also decide. Okay, I think I should just hide it. There's no point. So I'll just click on it. Duration. Okay. Then I'll hide it. Not visible. So it will submit that way to our list, but of course, you won't see it on the form as it were. So I haven't done that. We can go ahead to submit this form and see what happens. Okay. So let's preview. Select a date. Let's say Monday. Okay. And so one of the things we can also do is that you can also delay these text, these instructions or information from displaying to display after you must have selected both the start date and end date. You can also do that. It's a case of applying the right condition. Okay, so I'll add so till Friday. Okay, so fine. Leave type, let me say vacation. Okay, so I have 21 days left and I'm applying for 5, right? So the balance should be, so I'll select my supervisor to be test user. Okay, then the purpose is that it's personal. Okay, so I'll go ahead to submit this. Now, before I submit, okay, let me just go ahead to submit. Let me go ahead to submit. Okay, so let's go to our list and see. Okay, so this is the last request, vacation, supervisor test is the one, pending supervisor approval, and I'm going on 5 days. Okay, so you can see all of this information right here. Okay, now we can go ahead. So I'll go back home, new request. Okay, so like I said, all of this information can be delayed until I think we should just do that. So I want to delay this text from showing until this is picked. So let's look at what do we do. So we'll go to the label. So what we said was if the start date is less than today, that's when it should show. We also need to say that if it is not blank, okay, so how do you do that? So I will introduce an and, okay, then I will say if its exclamation is blank, okay, so let me open this. So I'll put a comma and still copy this. Let me just copy this. Okay, I want to believe you understand this. So let me format it. So what we're saying is that if it's blank is actually a function that checks if a control is blank or not. So we're now doing the reverse of it. This exclamation means not, you know. So is blank is neutralizing it to say if it is not blank, okay, and it is greater, that's when it should show. So let's go back and see. You say that it's not showing again. So we also apply the same logic to the other one. So let me copy this. In fact, let me copy the everything here and go back to this other one. So what I've said here, we'll just change it to 4 instead. So we'll change this to 4. Okay. So how we understand this part. So if it is not blank, then this. So that's when it should show. So if you preview it now, you would see that that information is what is gone. The same thing we can also apply for this balance is 21 number of days applied for. We can make it so that they only show up when this has been selected, and also when this has been selected. We have to do that. So let me check what other thing that do we need to do. What other thing do we need to do? Okay, so we need to now, at what point do we now deduct the number of days from the total vacation, or do we update this use vacation? Now it depends on you, but for my own thought of angle is that I should do this deduction on when my supervisor approves. So you can do deduction now, right? You can actually do deduction now, which means that I'll just do 21 minus 5, you know, which is 16. I can also say that so when it gets to the supervisor, if he declines it, so what it means is that you are returning the 5 back. You are returning the 5 back, right? But you can also say, okay, until the supervisor approves, that's when you will do the deduction. So it works that way too, okay? So, but either way, I think we should just go to the supervisor part and see how we do this. So here is the supervisor view. This is where he sees all the requests that are pending on him, okay? And this is the last one, for instance. So if he views this, if he opens this and view this, now he can't see the number of days, but yeah, we can actually, so we don't want him to struggle looking for number of days. So let's add it to this. I'll click on this, then go to edit fields, add field duration. Okay, so the duration is showing beneath this. I'll have to take it up. How do I do that? I just go to click edit fields, okay? Then I will drag this duration above the supervisor approval. So let me just drag it above. Let me drag it above purpose. Let me take it below purpose. Okay, cool. So it's been done. So this is it. Okay. So I will change this control from, I'll go to display mode, change it from, I'll change it to just view, display mode.view. I just want it to show in view format. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So it's showing 5 now. So at the point where the supervisor, one thing that we have not done here is the supervisor, it should be compulsory. This should be a required field. So I'll go to required and say true. Because the supervisor must not be able to submit until, oh, sorry. So you see what I said earlier. So this status, I actually selected status instead of the supervisor approval. So let me just turn it back. So you need to be careful too, you know. So he's actually selecting supervisor. So I have to scroll down to where I have the supervisor approval, which is this, okay? So let me go back to required. So there are situations where you might do that kind of mistake and you'll be wondering why the asterisk is not showing, okay? So you need to be sure that you've selected. So you see the asterisk is showing here, as well as the comment, okay? So for the comment, let's see, if I approve, it's fine. If I reject, it's okay. So this works fine, okay? So, but at the point where he approves, we want to be able to, you know, deduct from this from the users or update the use vacation, as the case may be, to this. So how do we do that? Yes. So how do we do that? How do we do that? So we have to go to on success of this form, all right? That is, when this form successfully sends the data to the SharePoint list, that is when it should do the update. So what we'll do is we'll select the form, okay, then go to on success, which is easy right here. So this navigate, I'll comment out this for now, okay. Then I will do a patch. So there's something we called patch, right? There's something we call patch in Fab. So we'll do patch, okay. So what do we want to patch? We want to patch our employee leave details, okay. So how do you want to patch it? So we'll look up, we'll do a lookup. So lookup is to check, to look for a particular record, right? Where okay, let's look at this. So which record do you want to patch? So this employee, this particular employee, so it has to be employee, okay, dots, because it's actually an object, so it has to be dot email equal to what? Create so we need to get this person's name, the person who raised this request. How do we get the person's name? Yeah, let's check. There's a full name. Let me see. We need to be able to get the person who created this. Okay, so the supervisor form that okay, great. So let's look at the item property of this form, which is gallery pending approval dot selected. So is that still the same thing we're going to use? So let's go back to the success. So where the employee email goes to dot selected dot created by, okay, dot email. Yeah, so let's try to understand this part. So what we're trying to do is that we want to be able to patch, you know, the record of the user who is requesting for these leave details. If you look here now, you see this is the employee leave details, where we have the details of their leave applications, or I mean their leave records, number of days used and the like. So this Ibrahim Idowu, we want to be able to update this record, and that's why we said look up this list, okay, where the employee.email, which is this employee, the email of this place, is equal to gallery approval.selected dot created by. Created by is the person who is requesting this request. There's a column called created by here. Let me try and show us. Created by. So if I click here, apply, you will see Ibrahim Idowu. So dot created by, okay, dot email. Okay, so I would say I'll close this. So want to patch this record. I think okay, slash ID. No, let me do this. Okay, comma. So I'll open this bracket. So what do we want to update? Used. Now another twist to this is that we also need to be able to know what do we want to update really, the vacation type. Now the leave type here says that it is vacation. Okay, so we also need to be able to know what type of leave we are updating. How do we then do this? So we need to say, okay, let's go back. That's where we now say, so we need to say, okay, let's say total. Okay, I'll just go ahead to let me just patch this first. Use vacation equals to this gallery pending approval, okay, dot selected dot duration. Okay, so I'll close this bracket. I'll close this. Okay, so let me format it. So look at what we did here. We say patch, right? What we're patching is that we're updating the employee leave details. Employee leave details. Lookup. This lookup is a record. You want to single out a record that you want to patch, okay? Where the employee email, this employee is coming from this employee leave details, and gallery pending approval selected is coming from the leave request. So you're updating the use vacation to this. So there's a twist to this, like I said, we should know the kind of leave the person is going for before we can actually do the update. But I said let's even do this first and see how it turns out. Okay, so I'll bring the navigate down here now. Okay. Okay, perfect. So yeah, so we can play it now and see. When you are rejecting, you have to make it compulsory. So we approve. This can fly. Okay, so let's submit. Okay, so it was successful. Now let's go and see if we got it right. Let's go. Let's go. Total, everything is still 0. Let's refresh and see. Wow. Total vacation use. Oh, wow. So it worked, right? So you can see the use vacation now is 5. Okay, you can see the use vacation now is what? It's 5. So perfect. So it works. So let's go back. These other ones do not have the duration of data, so we might not be able to, but let me just create another one and go to start date. Let me start on Monday and I come back on Tuesday. So I end it on Tuesday. Let me say vacation, supervisor, test user. Yeah, I have a family event. Okay, and I submit. In fact, oh, I saw the used. In fact, I didn't. This, you see that this use vacation is already even showing 5. Okay, so let's go back. Supervisor login. Let's check this guy. Okay, 2 days. Okay, that's fine. You can proceed. Okay, so let's submit. Okay, fine. Let's go back. New request. Wow, look at what happened. So he actually replaced my use vacation. This is disastrous. So this is disastrous. So in that case, what do we need to do? Right? We need to remedy that. So let's go back to, I'll just do something here. So let's go back here. So what we need to do is we're supposed to say that use vacation. Okay, copy this, use vacation plus, this is what we should have done, dot, let's say dot what? Use vacation dot text. Does this work? No, this does not work. It doesn't work. Let's see. We need to, but it should work. It should work. Let's see. Something wrong. Let me see. Value. Oh, it's wrong still. Let me see. Wow. Okay. What could be? Okay, let me just cut this and say use. Okay, I think what we'll do, not because of time, let me just, I'll just leave it as it were. I'm sure we'll crack that. We'll just crack that. So what we just need to do is to add the existing to this. I'm sure we should find a way around that. So I'll just stop at this point. So let's see what we've done. Yes, that's the Martin. Back to you.
Okay. Well done, Ibrahim. Great work there. Thank you very much for this. I just hope that people are not thinking that, well, they said this is no code, this is low code, but it's still looking a little complex. Not really, actually. It's just for us to think around the logic, and I believe that as we go on, refresh our knowledge around what's been taught, review the videos and practice, we'll get better at all of this. So thank you very much, Ibrahim, for the wonderful session. So please, everyone, if we have questions, we can signify by a raise of hand, or we drop those in the chat box, so I read them out to Ibrahim to give responses to them. So in the meantime, while I expect that, so Ibrahim, I think when we started this app itself, we mentioned at a point that the request ID field would auto-generate, but I don't know, we left that somehow.
Oh, okay. I think we'll do that next week. Yeah, there's a way to do that. It will be part of what we'll do next. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so if you have questions, please let's put forth our questions. If you have questions, clarifications, some things are confusing, we can signify so we attend to those. We have just 3-4 minutes to round up the session today. And as I mentioned to us when we started, the recording will be made available. All right, Moise, I can see your hand up, so please shoot.
Okay. This app now, the data we are collecting from the user is going to the SharePoint list. Is any other thing happening, like the supervisor receiving mail or something like that?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah, we're still going to, when we go to automate, that's where we trigger notifications to respective actors, and that's where we also do the auto-generate ID. So sure, that will be done.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Moise, for that question. Any other question, please? Any other question? Okay, and then Ibrahim, just to clarify this, we created our lists, our data sources on the Microsoft list, but it's referencing SharePoint. What's the relationship there?
Yeah, so what is trying to, now list used to be part or parcel of SharePoint list, and it's still part of it, but then Microsoft just deem it fit to isolate it now. Now being isolated doesn't mean it's also sitting on its own. It's still one way or the other attached to SharePoint, and that's why you see, if you look at the URL here, is attached to my site. There's a particular part of the SharePoint site that is called my site, which is just targeted to only you. It's just like your Facebook profile. There's a place that is just my profile, where you can go to see your. So this list is not attached to your profile. So that's why you see that the URL is showing my.sharepoint.com/personal. Unlike when you have it within a SharePoint, within a site, a sub-site, or a site within SharePoint itself.
Okay, so but in some situations where we created a list which is sitting on a sort of a personal site, is there the possibility of migrating it so that everyone in the organization could access it?
Yeah, sure, of course. Yes, you can move it. So what I actually expect is that when you are building, especially for an organization, you are not creating a list that is within your personal space. You are creating a list within a department, right, or an allocated intranet site for process automation, as the case may be.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for that, Ibrahim. I don't know if you have any more questions. We have 2 minutes. Okay, so I think perhaps we don't have more questions. So thank you very much, everyone. Let's not forget we are not done yet. This is the 4th session in the series, and we go again next week by God's grace. So we'll continue from where we stopped. We stayed back on the call till now would have noticed that there's still a number of features we need to address on the app that we're building, and some of those will be taken next week, and perhaps there might be some other things that will still need to continue in the subsequent weeks. So let's do well to join next week, same time, 5 p.m. West African time, and let's invite people. Let's tell our friends. This is actually a way to upskill. It's a way to bring more value to the way we actually deal with our dispensations at our various organizations. So let's endeavor to always make it a date with us. We would always be well appreciate and we will be glad that we did attend sessions like this. So thank you very much once again, everyone, and thank you the Power Platform user group leaders for availing us this opportunity. Thank you, Ibrahim, for this wonderful session that you have just shared a number of things with us. Thanks so much, and we hope to see every one of us in subsequent sessions. On this note, I say bye for now, everyone.